Hello, everyone. Welcome back to another episode from Question Everything TV. I'm your host, Akashik. If you're tuning back in, thank you so very much for the support. And if you're new to the channel, welcome. This channel is dedicated to exploring topics from a fresh new perspective. We encourage rational thinking in our quest to uncover truth. So, if you haven't already, please like and subscribe so we can continue to build this community of unique thinking minds. And now that is out the way, without further delay, let's get into it. Today's topic is on addiction, the real root cause. When we talk about addiction, most people instantly shift their minds to an alcoholic or some drug addiction. Although those are definite forms of addiction, addiction comes in all types of forms. There are addictions to food, sex, gambling, and even addictions to working out or cleaning, and not limited to being addicted to your phone, social media, television. Addiction is not a limiting thing. And even though on the surface you may think, I'm really not addicted to anything, let's get one thing straight. We all have an addiction in one way or another. Some addictions are positive in the sense that they add value, and some are negative in the sense that they take away. In our society, we tend to focus on the negative. Look at the news. Every night, what do you see? Murders, crimes, natural disasters. For some reason, the negative holds our attention longer. So it's only natural that when you see addictions, you only see things that take away in value. In that regards, all of our help agencies that we have created are geared towards, the negative addictions. We have Alcoholics Anonymous, rehab centers, sex therapists, psychoanalysis, and psychiatrists, all geared to help these individuals that have these negative addictions that harm them and others around them. Now, even though all these programs have their place and some are more effective than others, the truth is that these programs are just band-aids, not solutions. They treat the negative conditions only on the surface. They don't go deep into the problem where the cure lies. One of the reasons that happens is because people don't want a cure, they want relief. A cure is painful. People want to be comfortable. The other reason is that there's no money in the cure. Money is in the treatment. So society is set up to keep giving you Band-Aid after Band-Aid just to keep you functional. It's not set up to give you stitches so that the pain is over. But to be fair, the human condition is one that fears the pain of stitches would cause, so the average person only wants a Band-Aid anyway. Our society has become so soft. We avoid anything that causes friction. Nowadays, people don't even interact with each other. Technology in itself is a good thing, but it has made it that the world has shrunk globally, but has become distant socially. Nowadays, you play video games online, you interact through social media platforms, you even get food and groceries through platforms like Uber Eats or DoorDash. Now, I'm not saying these things are bad things, but I'm saying that through our attachment to these things, it has made the human condition more susceptible to addiction and more afraid of confrontation. In short, one of the main causes of addiction is the lack of people being able to process emotions. So let's go deeper into this. Let's go deeper into this problem. Let's explore emotions and how they affect addiction. First, let's explain how emotions work. The first thing you have to understand is this. Whatever thought you have in the mind, the body will have a reaction equal to the intensity of the thought and vice versa. It happens like this. Someone does something you don't particularly like. maybe leave out the dishes, your first thought is, that's annoying. I can't believe they didn't put those dishes away. That thought goes down into the body. Your emotions all perk up. The emotion anger jumps and says, that's some bull. So the anger energy now goes back up to the mind, and the mind forms an even bigger thought. The mind says, I should shove that face in their plate. That thought then goes back down to anger, and anger says, now we're talking. It sends a bigger burst of energy back up to the brain, and now you're caught in this feedback loop of emotions that you can't get out of, and before you know it, you're throwing a shoe across the room over a plate of food. Without awareness, you have let your mind turn something small into something big. You have turned a crumb into a brick. Now, that's just an example of how emotions work. But let's go deeper. Let's see how these emotions cause addiction. The main cause of addiction is from suffering, or better yet, running away from suffering. The second cause is the second cause is from addiction to pleasure and not having the ability to have discipline. So let's explore the first. The two fundamental faculties in your life that cause suffering are memory and imagination. In memory, you are still suffering from something that happened 5-10 years ago. You can't let it go. So you're still suffering. And with imagination, you're creating futures that haven't even happened yet. So you're already suffering before something happens. So out of these two faculties are born fear and misery. And you are trying to handle these two things by dodging emotional consequences, when in fact, the source is simply that you let your mind run back and forth in time in the faculties of memory and imagination. There is only one reason for a person to not be happy or be in bliss. It's because you are focusing on what you don't have, or else you would always be happy. Just think about this. Every animal in nature operates in the present. Humans, us, we are the only creatures that replay things in our mind. When a deer experiences almost getting hit by you in a car, the deer takes evasive action, they jump out the way, and in 20 minutes, they're eating grass as if nothing happened. But you, on the other hand, you are replaying this same event over and over in your head for the rest of the day, for the rest of the week. You're talking about it. You're telling people about it. Reliving the same experience over and over. When a lion gets hungry, it only eats when it gets hungry, and that's when it's most dangerous. After it eats, it goes back to laying in the shade, just being a lion. Humans, we are the only creatures that eat for pleasure. When you have some good pizza, you can't stop thinking about that pizza. You're replaying the pleasure of that experience over and over in your head. When it's time to mate, animals have sex, when mating season is in. When mating season is over, they don't think about sex. Humans, we are the only creatures that have sex for pleasure. And we have turned that into porn. Why? Memory and imagination. So now the lack of pleasure creates suffering. If you can't endure suffering, then you aren't free. You're a slave to whatever will protect you from suffering. Because of these things, mankind has created its own demons. It is said, when a person finds his demons, they also have found their God. Let that one sink in. Now we understand the faculties of memory and imagination, let's explore what's behind those two things. The root of the cause. And that thing is desire. Desire is an entity unto itself. It is the serpent in that story of Adam and Eve. It's the one that tricked consciousness into becoming intellect. The Buddhists, they strive for nirvana. Most Western cultures think nirvana means heaven, when in fact, nirvana means the escape of desire. All Buddhist monks strive for this because desire is the root of all suffering. Let's explore desire. Desire does not rise inside you because you think something is good. You think something is good because you desire it. Desire is magnified proportionally from the level of your love or your hate of something. You don't desire spinach because you don't like it, but you desire ice cream because you love it. Desire is in the eye of the beholder. The pull we feel from objects doesn't originate from the object. The trick of desire is to fill you with agitation, so you fix your attention on the object. Desire convinces us that union with this object will remove the agitation. I gotta have my cigarette. I gotta have my alcohol. I gotta have my weed. I gotta have my food. But of course, the object has nothing to do with the agitation. It is desire itself that creates the condition for its own existence. The object is arbitrary. It can be anything. It will be one thing today, another tomorrow. However, in pursuit of the object, we lose sight that the attraction and the agitation are projections of our own mind. Desire leads you away from the present. Desire means torn apart, torn from that which you are and that which you like. There's no relaxation in desire. Desire also, it causes a physical response in the body. The response is in the form of a brain chemical called dopamine. Dopamine is the chemical response to an emotional outcome of a mental thought. Dopamine is secreted by the hypothalamus gland. It is also known as the feel-good hormone. The problem with this hormone is that it's very addictive and it's very temporary to the brain. The more your brain gets, the more your brain needs to get into this feel-good state. That's why, like for alcoholics, when they drink one beer, then the next time they need 2 beers, and then the next time they need 4, and etc. So this desire creates this hormone that your brain needs more of every time you get it. Once again, another feedback loop. So I know I gave you guys a ton of information, but the next logical question is, okay, how do I deal with desire? Okay, you've explained it. Now, how do I deal with it? How to deal with desire. First off, you cannot kill desire. Desire is a part of life. Without desire, there's no growth. The problem is that most people go through life with an unconscious desire. The key is that you have to make desire a conscious process. Then desire becomes a vehicle that will take you places. When awareness is a part of desire, it's a wonderful instrument. Without awareness, desire runs like an untrained puppy. The mind is like a garden. Consciousness is like the gardener. The gardener has a choice to be focused, to plant beautiful flowers, wonderful fruit, or let the garden unattended where weeds and bugs can have their way and grow destruction. So how do we transform our garden? True transformation is something that you choose. You choose it to happen first, and then something happens to you. At first, it's free will, and then nature takes over and does the rest. The Bible says take one step to God and God takes 2 steps towards you. It's like a woman who chooses to have a child. At first, she exercises free will to become pregnant. But then after she gets pregnant, nature does the rest. It's like I just said with the garden. First, you take the effort to plant the seeds, and then nature takes over and does the rest. So, what's the first step? The first step is taking total responsibility for yourself. With responsibility, freedom is born. Responsibility and freedom are like 2 sides of the same coin. If you're not ready to be responsible, then you're not ready to be free. When you make the choice to become responsible, that's when you become totally free. Love, it's a high virtue, but freedom is higher than love. In the Buddhist culture, overcoming desire comes through liberation or freedom. Liberation comes when the mind is no longer enslaved by objects. In fact, when the mind overcomes objects, it realizes objects were never the chains that was holding the mind. But in fact, the chains were the mind's own making. Liberation or freedom, it's not easy, especially when desire keeps feeding you new objects. Like one day you want cupcake, and then you've overcome that, and then the next day you want ice cream. It's just how it happens. So what produces liberation or freedom? It's mindfulness of your experiences. Desire cannot be defeated by resistance. It can only be outgrown through insight. The road to liberation is in contemplation and meditation. There's no other way to overcoming desire. So I'm going to stop right there. I think that's where we're going to pick up next week. Next week's video is going to be on meditation. I'm going to explain the importance of it, and you're going to see it in a whole new way. I know I hit you guys with a lot in this video. It's a little bit longer than my first 2 videos, but if you stayed until the end, I hope you got value out of it. I appreciate everyone in this growing community. Please check out my book, The Boy, the Master, and the 7 Questions. Last week, I tried to put the link in the description, and a couple people reached out to me and said that the link doesn't work. So I'm going to attempt to do it again this time. If you're interested, please click the link. Please buy the book. You'll love it. It's it's definitely something worth reading. With that being said, I hope everyone has a productive and blessed week. And until we meet again next week, namaste.